So, good afternoon and welcome to this General Licensing Subcommittee hearing on the 23rd of January. Firstly, please note that Councillor Hudson was due to sit on this panel, but he's recused himself and Councillor Potter has kindly agreed to step in. So, first item on the agenda is nomination of the Chair. So if I could ask for nominations, please.
I nominate Councillor Potter.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Councillor Potter.
Thank you. Well, I'll introduce myself. I'm Councillor Jed Potter from Allistory Ward in Derby. I'll ask my fellow councillors to introduce themselves, please.
I'm Councillor Neil Wilson from Cheddar North Ward.
Councillor Stephen Lake in Cheddar and Shoughton Lock.
And also on the benches.
Manju Gurn, I'm solicitor for Derby City Council.
Thank you. And if licensing would like to introduce themselves, and then the applicants, please.
Thank you. Zoe Mays, Senior Licensing Officer. Thank you.
I'm Tony Meadowcroft.
Wayne Salmon.
Ron Rothwell.
Thank you. Well, welcome to this hearing, and what will happen is the licensing officer will give the details as she sees it. Then we will ask questions of the licensing officer, and then, as there's no witnesses, we'll go to the applicants, if that's okay with you, and we'll ask questions of you. This hearing is all about an application for a premises licence at the Attic Experience, Carrington House, Ascot Drive, Derby, Delta Echo 248ST. Now, Jackie, are there any additional documents at all? Any late?
No late items have been brought.
Thank you. So now we move on to the licensing officer. Zoe, if you please present the case. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Sorry, just one thing. Are there any declarations of interest? I'm sure people have mentioned that. There's not that many here today. Any declarations of interest? Thank you, Zoe.
Thank you, Chair. A premises licence application for the Attic Experience, Carrington House, Ascot Drive, Derby, DE 248ST was submitted to the licensing team on the 25th of November 2025. The proposed application relates to the licensable activity of films and recorded music at the premises. Full details of the application and the accompanying plans are set out in Appendix 1. The statutory notice was displayed at the premises from the 26th of November 2025 until the 23rd of December 2025. In addition, a public advertisement was placed in the Derby Telegraph on the 28th of November 2025. The applicant, Attic Media Midlands Limited, have agreed a set of conditions with Derbyshire Constabulary. These agreed conditions are attached in Appendix 2. One representation has been received from an anonymous individual, primarily raising objections on the basis of criminal allegations. Details of this representation are provided in Appendix 3. The applicant has also submitted supporting information to provide clarification in relation to the matters raised in the objection. The options available today are to decide to either grant the application as per the application, modify the conditions of the licence, or reject the whole or part of the application. Thank you.
Zoe, could you confirm, have there been any previous applications for such a licence?
Not at this premises, Chair.
Thank you. The applicants, you've heard what the licensing officer has said. Any questions at all or anything like that? Would you like to present your application then, please?
I'm the owner of the Attic. I've been running it over 20 years. We've never had any trouble there. We run a very tight club. Police we've got good rapport with, fire service and everything else.
Thank you. Could I just ask, when you say you've run it for 20 years, was that at a previous location?
Thank you. Just looking regarding CCTV, I think the police have asked for sort of 28-day retention, and reading from the information provided, that's still being is that in operation yet, or not?
The procurement has been sourced. We are ready to push the button it's just 4 new hard drives to hold the extra data, basically. Assuming the licensing is agreed, they will be purchased on the moment of agreement and installed within 7 days.
In terms of timescales, then, when will that happen?
Within 7 days of being agreed. If the license is accepted, within 7 days, we'll go from 7 to 28 days.
Also, in terms of CCTV, it's about internal CCTV, because currently you've just got it on the car park, my understanding, reading from documentation. Whereabouts will you be positioning that CCTV throughout the premises?
Sorry, let me elaborate. There is on the car park and internal CCTV at the premises already. All that needs upgrading is the hard drive to hold the extra data of 7 days footage to 28 days footage.
And when you say internally, where is that?
All public areas of the club that you would expect. So not the toilets, not the private rooms, just the public areas of the club.
Just on still on CCTV, on the website under the policies section, it doesn't actually refer to internal CCTV. It just refers to CCTV externally.
Probably an oversight that needs looking at that we can have updated literally within hours.
Right, thank you very much. Have you got any questions, Steve, at all?
Yes, from what I've read, you seem to refer to staffing as volunteers. There doesn't seem to be anybody trained, or it seems to be all very loosey-goosey. Can you clarify if you do have actual staff, actual paid staff, and do you have qualified doormen?
As with the other 21 clubs up and down the country, other than Mr. Rothwell, there is no actual employee of the business. Everyone is a volunteer. In terms of training, if you can find me a training course of how to run a swingers club, I'm sure we could look into it, but as far as I'm aware, there isn't such training as such. Everyone attends for their own reason. Everyone attends for their own purpose. There's no set reason why people are there. No, we do not have trained doormen. We have had contact with SIA. They are in agreement that it is not a requirement as yet. Our relationship, as Mr. Rothwell said, with Derbyshire Police is rather well. As far as we're aware, they have no complaints towards us in regards to that. They asked for a risk assessment of the requirement for trained door staff, to which at present we do not believe it is required.
I'll just expand on that if I can. The staff becoming volunteers, I mean, how do you differentiate between somebody who's a volunteer staff member and actually a customer?
We do have lanyards. They are branded with staff down the thing. They have the name of the staff member on them. If it is a busy event, most of the staff, if not all of the staff, would also be wearing a radio to keep in communication with each other. So they are quite identifiable.
Thank you. So can you assure us that all the members who visit there, all the customers, would get the same sort of reaction from roles and responsibilities from all the volunteers in case of an emergency, in case the premises had to be vacated, in case the police or fire service had to turn up? Would they all act in the same manner?
Yes, they've all had at least a toolbox talk training of the evacuation procedure of the club. Anyone who is arriving at the club for their first time as a guest is given a full tour of the club, told where the fire exits are. If staff are visible during that tour, they are pointed out at the same time. They are also guided to the fact that if they have any issues and they cannot find a member of staff, where there is always a member of staff, which is usually at the entrance point of the club.
Thank you. What would you say to any concerns about this business allowing the entry of convicted sex offenders?
We understand that that is on the objection because of one particular individual who has been released. That individual has been asked not to attend the establishment. With any sex shop, lap dancing club, would any person walking through the door to enter those things be assessed against any sex offenders register, anything such as that? Probably not. We also have a history of asking other members not to re-attend because of known from the media of their activities, and if we know they are of said nature, then they will not be allowed access into the premises.
And how is this, how are they informed of this? By writing? Effectively, if you're going to ban somebody from the premises, what's the banning procedure?
They are usually told face-to-face at the time. Depending on the contact details we have for them, would ultimately depend on how they are informed.
And with regard to those operating the premises, including yourselves, are there any background checks regarding criminal activity or criminal prosecutions, etc.?
Yes, we have DBS checked all the staff, the volunteers.
Thank you. Now, with regard to previous offences or incidents, how are these recorded? How are the police informed, etc.? How does your business operate that incident book, for want of a better word?
Should anything have escalated to the point that we feel the police need to be informed, we obviously call 999 at that moment. They are literally at the end of the road that we are on. Their response time is immense. I think since we've been on Ascot Drive, that has only happened once. And it was just someone who would not accept no for an answer in terms of being asked to leave the premises. They came on, they did their role, they left. As far as I'm aware, there was no further action from the police in that matter.
So hopefully then, if you do get an incident and a volunteer member of staff has to eject somebody or tell them they're not welcome in the club, how is this escalated?
The volunteer member of staff would usually ask the person in question to remove themselves from the club. If there is any resistance, they are usually informed that they are within the realms of the club due to a condition of entry, which usually has the club's rules and such on. If they still refuse, that is usually brought to Mr. Rothwell, myself, or Mr. Meadowcroft's attention. And again, it is just pretty much reiterated to them that their entry has been revoked. They are asked to leave. If they still refuse, as far as we are under the understanding, that is trespass, and we would obviously escalate towards the police. But it's extremely rare. Most people just sort of half accept it and on the way they go.
Thank you. Going back to the CCTV, I think you mentioned somewhere that it's a nominated person and or the owner, and then a nominated person. How often are you the owner and the nominated person for the CCTV on the premises? You're there all the time? Okay, so with the security of the CCTV, obviously you've said it's going to be non-tamper proof basically. There's going to be somebody there all the time. With regard to...
May I just...
Yeah, certainly.
The actual housing of the CCTV, the hard drives and the actual control units, if you like, are in a locked room.
Okay, it's mentioned an incident log should be retained and made available for endorsement by the licensee. Any responsible person, all members of staff and performers dancers at the premises, and production to an authorised council officer or police officer on request, and such log shall record each and every event. Now, you mentioned any reasonable, responsible person. What do you mean by that? Could you tell me?
Usually it would be the person that is on the door, so to speak. There is the three of ourselves who are named as the responsible people as far as the licence is concerned. The log has commenced since the application has gone in and is seemingly working quite well.
Thank you. That's most of my questions, I think.
Now, you told me that you've been operating for 20 years, and at the moment you consider that there is no requirement for a SIA-trained doorman. How often will you risk assess the requirement for doorman?
6 months.
Thank you. Just focusing on sort of bring your own bottle. In terms of is there any limits that you put on this?
Not as such, because I don't think it's ever been an issue where someone's bought too much. You come to realise over the years that everyone's limit is different. We have the rules in place and we have the signage in place where if we feel someone is becoming too intoxicated, we will withhold the service of that alcohol until they leave the premises. And if we feel that they are too intoxicated, they will be asked to leave the premises.
In terms of some member being intoxicated, how do you assess, what's your sort of your opinion of how intoxicated somebody is to the point where you refuse them entry or ask them to leave?
Pretty much the same as every publican in the country. You can see that people aren't necessarily standing up straight, walking straight, their speech has started to slur, their behaviour may have changed, especially in our environment. It's not something that we advise, it's something that we massively keep an eye on and are probably more stringent with it than any publican that we know.
Thank you. There's no further questions, so Zoe will sum up and then you can ask any questions, etc. Okay?
Thank you, Chair. The options available today are to decide to either grant the application as per the application, modify the conditions of the licence, or reject the whole or part of the application. Thank you.
Would the applicants like to address the subcommittee at all or ask any questions?
There is one thing of note. We have obviously seen the objections. We are somewhat of an agreement that this is an ex-disgruntled volunteer of the club who has tried to besmirch the club in any way humanly possible. Whether that is for your consideration or not is obviously for you to decide, but we think it is of note.
Thank you. Well, if there's no further questions then, I think the councillors will sum up and say, will we retire, I think, to make our decision, if that's okay, Jackie?
Just to add, sorry, before you leave, the decision notice should be with you on Monday.